Hi everyone, welcome back. Since the last episode, the only progress I've really made was to mask and paint the red panels. So that I used an airbrush. I used Vallejo Fire Red, I believe. I'll put those details in the comments later. But that's really about as far as I got because I've changed directions a little bit and I've decided now to create some physical damage to the Falcon. And again, learning from my mistakes, I should have done this before I applied the primer and the base coat, and I should have done this when the Falcon was still in its assembly stage without any sort of paint. But I'm going to try to do this after the fact. I've tested this on some spare styrene and sprue pieces that I had left over, but if you guys are going to do this, do it before you paint to just make everything safer. I'm going to try to do this after I put on the base coat, so we'll see how this goes, but let's get started. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the soldering iron technique, and the thinking behind that is basically bringing a hot iron close enough to the panels without touching to heat it up, and then you're able to bend the plastic without it breaking. Okay, so what I have here are jeweler's pliers. So basically they're rounded and there's no serrations or any sort of the grippy bumps in the teeth. So that'll probably be my primary tool for this. I also have just your normal kind of set of pliers, again without the serrated teeth in the jaws, and then I also have a little bit of a longer set of pliers, same thing, no teeth in there. All right, and so yeah, I'm gonna give this a try. I have my reference photos handy, so in this particular view you can see the damage there. That's what I'm going for. Whoops. I'll be going for that damage, that those guys there. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll basically do this around the circumference of the Falcon. I'll attempt to create the damage underneath the cockpit, but in essence we'll start on these two guys here, and that will correspond to that section there as well as that section there and the pieces down in here. So yeah, we'll get started with that and get everything set up, and I'll show you how this all works out. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks. So now that I have these couple of sections, I think, done, then I'm going to start working on these kind of two side panels on either side of this docking ring. So looking at my reference photos, so if we're looking at the right side, you'll see this kind of jagged edge here. So what I ended up doing was on the Falcon itself, you can see I drew out some lines to try to mimic what those cut lines will look like. That'll help guide me as I go through this. And then for the left side, let's see here, then on this photo, the focus, there it is. So you'll see all of these kind of jagged edges here. So what I did as well is on this side, same thing. Drew out some lines here to help guide me how far I would need to cut. Pretty significant here. The damage that you see on this underside here, I'm not going to go to the extent of doing all of this. This is pretty significant. I think some folks have used a piece of styrene and really kind of molded this piece to and laid it on top of the Falcon itself to create this kind of damage. I'm not going to go to that length. So what I'll probably end up doing is just, if we go over here, probably just bending up this panel here. We'll have to see, once I cut out this section, how much room I have to play here. I might try to bend some of that corner just to give it a little bit more significant damage, because this is pretty significant compared to all of the other parts of the damage. So we'll go to cutting these sections out, and then probably use the heat gun, and not the heat gun, the soldering iron, to create some of that damage. Might actually try to touch the iron to the actual model to give it a softer jagged edge, if you will, instead of not so rough cut, but we'll have to see. So let's get to it.